Damn, Apollo, you crazy.
And that's why I hold my breath at times where I should speak up. That's why I say my health is bad when you wanna leak up. Cause the stress is hard to hide, but I move with pride and ride for my guys and die. Know that I'm a blessed at times, but know that I'm about to try.
Yeah, I made it out that mud, made it out that dirt. Going harder for my dreams while I'm still on this earth. Had to step into that mosque and step away from church. On my way back to Allah, and all that I deserve. Had to pay up for my sins, lessons that I learned. Had to give and sacrifice before my life was turned. And now I know that 90 bitches made me more than merch. And I keep pushing to the end, even though it hurt. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out. Cause when I lost my dog, I thought it was the end. When Trevor lost his life, it was just the beginning. When I see Frankie fall, I couldn't fucking breathe. Look, why'd you take my dogs and leave the pain with me? Cause I've been fighting back these tears, Lord. No longer feel my death, but only feel God. I watched them turn to angels, now they watching over me. That pain will fade away, my only choices is to see. With Apollo, I'ma take off to the moon. See my dogs in the sky, I'll be coming home soon. Taking my shot, and now that life is so new. Knew I would make it out doing what I'm supposed to. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. I'm just trying to find my way out. Way out.
Move with pride and ride for my guys and die. Know that I'm a mess at times, but know that I'm about to try.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing out there? Alex Cuesta Show. I am that guy. I'm Alex. How's everybody doing? It is January 7th, 2025, and it's been a few days since I've been back. I think the last time I recorded was Saturday. So it's been a few days. Did my other show on Sunday. Yesterday kind of took a little bit of a relax, and I think every once in a while we could do that. But like I said, it's going to be a little bit choppier. I put out my New Year's resolution of trying to complete my book, trying to do some other things as well. So I'm going to jump on. It's not going to be an everyday schedule. It'll be every other day or so or something like that. And we have a real interview tomorrow. I'm excited for that. I love doing the interview parts of this. David should be here for that as well. So that's always exciting on top of that. So let's jump into the fun stuff. Preamble real quick. Wherever you're watching, we appreciate that. Whether it is on X, Facebook, YouTube, Kick. I wonder if I'm on Rumble today. I might be. I have no clue if it's actually streaming there, but hopefully I'm on Rumble. That would be awesome. Wherever you are watching, thank you as well. Definitely make sure that you go, and if you are on X, give us a repost and a follow there. If you're on Facebook, share it and follow us. Kick, give us a follow. Rumble, subscribe to the channel and like the show. Same thing over on YouTube. Smash the like button, subscribe, and spread this word of mouth. If you are listening via podcast later, again, thank you as well. Please leave a review, 5 stars, and a comment. That'll always help. Only positive comments though. The negative ones you can keep to yourself. We don't want those. But so my quick preamble, as I always do. I'm going to keep on talking about the Epstein client list. Even just mentioning it, don't let it get memory hold. If you're somebody that has kind of forgotten that we still haven't seen that, make sure that you start talking about it. If you frequently view other pages or watch other creators, comment. See if hopefully they see it so they could be like, yeah, Epstein client list. We want to get that out there. That's number one. Number two, keep on remembering the victims of Helene and Milton. I know there were the terrorist attack in New Orleans. A lot of people are raising money for. I saw that the NFL was doing a whole bunch of stuff for the NOLA victims, and absolutely, we should be helping them out as well, without a doubt. But we also cannot forget Helene and Milton. Yes, the NOLA victims' families, they're never going to be the same. They have funerals that they need to bury people way too soon. And it's heartbreaking. But like I said, there's people suffering because our government isn't stepping up. FEMA sucks. And they're not doing everything they're supposed to do for the people of Helene and Milton. And the reality is there's tragedies that go on every single day, everywhere around the world, and even in the United States. But if we can make a difference, especially when it's cold, send a hat, send some gloves, send some warm socks. If you could buy a jacket, more than money. Send items because they could distribute items, send it to an organization. I haven't mentioned in a while, but Mercury One, they kind of facilitate where it goes to. They work with a lot of the charities. A lot of the charities there are churches or religious based, and they're the ones that distribute the goods. So go over there and help them out. Um, Speaking of that, the FEMA people overlooking the Trump supporters is something we still need to get to the bottom to. That's another thing I'm not going to let get memory hold. Going to keep talking about it. And also support Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty is dope. They do a lot of good stuff in terms of getting DEI and that bullshit out of schools. And they're really working hard to get local candidates for state, federal, not state law, federal level, but state and local level. And they were successful in this last campaign. So the more we could do for them, whether it's donating money or something like that, the better they can be at doing their job. And lastly, I don't think there's any let up right now, but we can't just rest on the Trump victory. We can't just expect him to fix everything in these next 4 years. Midterms are around the corner. Next year, there's another election for some local thing, local state around you. Go find out what is going on. Find out now. Join your local Republican committee or conservative committee, whatever you are, and go join it. Libertarians, I don't give a fuck what you do, but join it. Be active. Make sure that you are affecting the outcome of the next election. And the next election isn't in 2 years. The next election is next year. You could have a special election in the summer. You're going to have something going on in November. So make sure that you know exactly what is going on and that you can be aware and you can be involved, because that's super important that we don't just rest on the fact that Trump won. So let's really get going here. Let's have some fun. And let's start off today with this little ditty over here. Past guest, Jay David, Drunk 3PO, his campaign for Achromatic Chronicles Green. We've mentioned it before. Let me pull this up real quick. This was my post on it. Woo woo. Let's get it going over here. Boom, bam. Slide me down. So, the original post by Eric July, the special covers came out so clean. Let me click on these. Those are the special covers that you can order for Achromatic Chronicles Blue over there on the left and Achromatic Chronicles Green on the right. I thought they came out fucking fantastic. You can still pre-order these. Today is the last day. The 7th is the last day to pre-order these to get your copy of Achromatic Chronicles Green, the pre-order, and also grab Blue if you haven't yet. You can go on and make sure that you buy it, because I have Achromatic Chronicles Blue for my kids and I read it to them. They love it. We read it every once in a while. Again, after, it wasn't just read once and let it go away. It is read it and okay, what's John doing now? And making sure that we can continue to find out why, how he's doing and things like that. And they're really curious about what's going on in the next one. They wanted to know if there was a next one. I told them I ordered Green and they were like, hell yeah. They're pumped. They're 6-4. They didn't say hell, but they're excited for Green to come in. So definitely go order those. And if you want to order the special cover, just look at those bad boys. They look fucking fantastic. And if you are interested in ordering, this is where you can go. It is over at ripascend.com/campaign/achromatic-chronicles. And the estimated ship date's February 2025. This is the page that you will be looking at if you want to order them. You can click on that. You'll see a little bit of a trailer. They have smashed the goal. Jay has done so fucking well. And I'm so happy for Jay. If you didn't watch the episode where we had Drunk 3PO on, you're missing out, because Jay's a genuinely nice guy. He has a massive channel. Like his channel, he's a part, a fabric of the Geeks and Gamers crew. Beloved member of that group. Just an all-around nice guy. And he has, he didn't have any reason to jump on here. And I think anyone that, has a platform and jumps on, but he had, no reason to jump on a small podcast like this and talk to me and David. But He's fantastic. He shared some stuff. He has, he talked about Green coming out and some of the things they have going on with the coloring book before it was really even a big known thing. He talked about it here, and we're just always so appreciative. So we support him. So if you want, again, the sales goal, it ends on the 8th. So 12 o'clock tonight, it's over. But they did a great job. But go add to this. See the campaign story, the 75-day pre-order. This was Ripasend's first um, big campaign, and they knocked it out of the park. Eric July, Ripasend, all the people at the Ripaverse have been kicking ass. And these are what you could do. On the side, you see the different packages there. Depending on what cover you get, they have 3 different covers. This is the campaign. We'll click on some of that stuff real quick. So let's go. Let's click here on the Achromatic Chronicles Green view. If you want to order, you have the 3 different covers here. You have this one right here, which is the original cover. Cover A. You have this one right here, which is cover B, which is the special edition that I was just showing off. And this one's a $50 one. The original cover is the $35 one. There's 351 left of the original. There's 158 left of the special. So go and get yours still. And then this is cover B, which is similar to what they had. They're trying to keep something going with the Achromatic Chronicles Green cover A, B, and things like that, because this one has 163 in stock. And let me go down and let me show you the Achromatic Chronicles Blue here, because the covers kind of follow a same chronology. That's the one I have. That's the original. That's A. B has that special that we saw. And then, a special one. And B is up John flying around. The other one is Fortuna, the other character. This is John flying up and around, and it's all really cool. And let me go back real quick. If you want to catch up and you want a huge pack, this has a whole bunch of dope shit in it. Has everything you want. All the covers, especially wrapped, boarded, stuff like that for you. A coloring book, some weight, balls and things like that. It's expensive, $750, but if you have the change and you want to help, go support Jay. Because like I said, Jay's a good dude and he deserves it. Nate coming in with the fellas. What up, Nate? How's it going? But yeah, go support Jay. He's doing some real cool stuff there. And like I said, I bought Achromatic Chronicles Green for my daughter. I got the original cover because I have the original cover of blue. And you see there is actually behind me over here. Let me get myself back up to large, because behind me, right over here, is a little mini poster picture that came with the first one. And Jay actually signed that. He signed them all, I believe, in the first one. I didn't know Jay at all when I bought the first one. I was just a fan. I'm a fan of Geeks and Gamers, what they do over there. And I knew Jay had that. And I didn't even get that. My brother, David, he got that for me as a gift for the kids. And it came with that. And it came with a magnet. It was a really cool little setup. And I guarantee you'll be getting much of the same if you get this. So again, go over to ripasend.com/product/achromatic chronicles -green. You just go to the regular Chronicles and surf your way there, read about it, and definitely go pick it up. And, just want to say this, I not getting paid. Jay didn't ask me to do this. No one at G&G, Eric July, no one asked me to do this. It's just, I feel, when people are good to me and people are cool and they come on the show and they're, still friendly. Jay is still awesome. I feel the need to pay it forward. I don't need to get anything out of it. It's, just dope to see people succeed. And I want Jay to succeed. And he obviously is, because his campaign freaking crushed it. All right. So let's go on from that awesome campaign to this. We're going to have a lot of X posts today. That's going to be a lot of what it is. Less news stories, mostly X posts. I'm trying to started late today, so I'm going to get out of here probably a little early, run through this a little bit quicker than normal. I'm trying not to do another 2-hour show. My dad listens to all of these, and it's funny because he listens to all these, and the one comment he's like, I love the show, blah, blah, blah. He's like, but you're killing me with the 2-hour shows. I'm sitting there, so I'm like, yeah, I know. Last one I just did was over 2 hours. He's going to kick my ass for that one. But Dad, I'll try and keep it less than 2 hours just for you today, Dad. No one else, the old man. All right. So let's jump back in here. So this is from Star Wars stuff. And it's a quote from James Mangold on his upcoming Star Wars movie. And, it's going to inspire you and it's going to make you want to watch this movie if you're a Star Wars fan, if there are any of us left out there. Here's the quote. It would be taking place 25,000 years before any known Star Wars movie takes place. I'm not that interested in being handcuffed by so much lore at this point that it's almost immovable and you can't please anybody. What the fuck did he just say? He doesn't want to be bogged down by lore. So he's making a movie that is set so far in the past that let him just start to make up the fucking shit. Let him start to make up the lore and nothing that you know or give a shit about matters. It's like, wait, what? What? And this is what pisses everyone the fuck off. Because if we really want to talk about this with James Mangold, I don't want to be bogged down by the lore that's so immovable I won't please anybody. No, asshole. Use the lore. You know who would be pumped? I know people get mad. Like, it's not Legends, it's the Expanded Universe. And I know there are some fantastic books in the Expanded Universe and there's some shit books, right? Like everything else. But I guarantee if they just sat there and they just took some of the best of the Expanded Universe and those authors that understood George Lucas's Star Wars and really built upon it, made great characters, great stories, good plots, moved Luke along incredibly well, and all the other characters, Han, Leia, gave them real storylines. And all they did, if they just sat there and brought those books adaptations to the screen properly, you'd be fucking fine. The thing is, this is the biggest issue with what's going on with Star Wars, Star Trek, and to a lesser extent Star Trek, but Star Trek is more in just the vein of the things. But Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC, you name it, any nerdy shit, any fanboy shit. The problem is the people making it are not fans of it. Number one, that's the first and foremost. And it's been talked about. You can go on any of the, nerd podcasts that are kind of on the right, I guess, on this, or just like the fucking show. But it's, number one, they're not fans. That's the biggest thing. And number two, because they're not fans, they don't give a shit about the lore, the backstory, the characters, who they are. And they're bothered by it. They are bothered by you and your bullshit and what you want. So because of that, they're just like, I know better than you. I'm in Hollywood. I'm the director, the producer, the star. I'm going to make it my artistic expression because I'm better than you. And that's all there is to it. And they are going to continue to fail. This quote alone is going to fucking haunt James Mangold. Because here's the thing. After this quote, he's guaranteed to say a few more retarded things because these Hollywood people can't help but shove their foots straight up their own asses and keep on fucking going up and down with it, okay? They can't help it. So he's going to say a few more things and it is going to be used against him. And he can put out, whenever his movie comes out, he can put out a decent product. And it will be remembered as a piece of shit because he is a piece of shit. Okay? That is an awful quote. This is going to be terrible. If that is the way he feels, if he wants to create his whole new shit, go create Rebel Moon, asshole. Go create Rebel Moon. Okay? That's all you're going to do. You're going to fanfic your way into making a Rebel Moon with Star Wars plastered on it. Because all this is non-fan. It's not even fanfic because they're not fans. So Nate coming in saying, I was just having this convo with the friend at work today. And it's like, yeah. And it's so funny because I got my day job. I'm a driving instructor. So I talk to a lot of young kids and some of them are Star Wars fans and they're kind of okay with what's going on because they don't know any better. They really don't because they haven't seen all the old stuff. And if they have, it's kind of a little dated to them. So they're not kind of as like dedicated to it as a lot of, people our age are and stuff like that. So it's kind of difficult to get through to them just how fucked up this is. But they've also been raised in this generation of fully accept and shit like that. So it is kind of bizarre to see that people like James Mangold just have not learned a fucking thing. Just haven't learned a thing. They don't care. And it's terrible. And this came from MovieWeb, this quote. So it's a legitimate quote. They talked to him. So that's that with the nerd stuff. We'll keep checking it out. Star Wars stuff has been popping up and been getting fucking trolled because they put some dumb shit up there. But they, it is what it is. Um, not them putting up dumb shit. It's not Star Wars stuff doing the dumb shit. I will, preface that. It is the shit that they report is dumb shit going on via Star Wars. I'm not attacking Star Wars stuff. But yeah, so there's that whole fun tidbit. Now we are going to pivot, a hard pivot away from nerdy stuff. It was pretty quick over to sports, the footballs, to be quite honest. Now, I am going to watch this with you. We are going to watch this together as I put this new tab up over here. Boom, boom. This is Barstool Sports. Jalen McMillan, I want to say, fucking great pickup for me with my fantasy. Helped me win a championship. Came on strong as the number 2 for Tampa Bay the last four games of the year. And I mean, ended up helping me win my fantasy, $750 richer. But bing, I think I mentioned that already. But so on this play, he gets flagged 15-yard for unsportsmanlike conduct. Let's watch this play and let's see if there's anything unsportsmanlike.
5-man rush. Mayfield sees it. Going deep. McMillan. He's got it!
First off, before we even see what he gets flagged for, can we just be pumped that Baker Mayfield is playing so well? Like, can we be pumped? Can he be the comeback player of the year? Like, I know he played well last year. Or like the most improved. Do they still give most improved? Because he's even better than he was last year. And Godwin went down. He really only had Mike Evans. He had Bucky running the ball like a fucking monster. Bucky Irving looks like he could be legit. And I like Bucky Irving a lot. Handing the ball off to him is good. He has some other good players around him, but losing Godwin hurt. He was a big crutch for him. Mike Evans, kudos to Mike Evans. He ties Jerry Rice for the most 1,000-yard seasons in a row. And it's mind-blowing that Mike Evans has gone like so under the radar with this that we're going to look back and go, Mike Evans is one of the greatest wide receivers in our generation that did not get the props he deserved. So kudos to him. But pump for Baker Mayfield. That Baker is playing so freaking well. He's playing at an MVP level. And regardless of what happens with the Bucs in the playoffs this year, you have to be happy for a dude like that came in and people basically gave him the Johnny Manziel treatment right away, thinking he was just going to be a cocky little prick that wasn't going to play well. And he got off to a rough start over in Cleveland, a rough start in Carolina. Teams, the Bucs took a shot on him and he has rewarded them with fantastic play. But let's continue. This is what Jalen McMillan gets penalized for. He got an unsportsmanlike penalty for that motion. Now, we have been seeing the NFL crack down more and more and more on any sort of gun-like motion. Whether it's firing pistols, like bang, bang type of stuff, whether it's doing that where it looks like he's mostly pointing to a first down. He does the trigger, but this is a celebration that has been going on forever, this type of thing. And what bothers me about it, let me go side by side here. What bothers me about it is there's nothing derogatory about it, right? If he was turning around to another player and doing the shooting motion, okay, that's unsportsmanlike. You're not doing that. That's the whole vein of the penalty. But to just basically say hey, we're firing at the hip, it's a celebratory thing of we're firing on all cylinders. It's kind of what the whole thing is. To penalize them and fine them for shit like that is so crazy to me. So crazy. Because one of their formations is called the fucking shotgun. Are we just going to take away all of the names that may be offensive? That's coming next. Hail Mary's got to go. Religious connotations. Can't do the Hail Mary. There are so many things that fucking bother me about this shit. And it's Jalen McMillan made a great play. Baker made a big pass. And we can also look right here because it was a big moment in the game. Fourth quarter, 10:38 left, 19-13. They had a 4th and 8 and they went for it. Huge freaking play. And you're going to penalize them for it? I find that to be wild. Nate G coming in saying stuff like that is why I became a puckhead instead of a football guy like I used to love. Here's the thing. I love hockey too. My issue is I have YouTube TV and I know I can use StreamEast or whatever. No, don't use StreamEast. Bad. Don't use it. But you can use certain sites and you can watch what you want. But it's like such a hassle because YouTube TV doesn't have MSG or SNY. I can't watch the Devils. It doesn't have Yes Network. I have to fucking battle to watch the Nets and the Yankees. It's like I am in hell with a lot of my sports. I have to work hard. The Jets are the only one I have access to that is constantly on TV, unfortunately. So I watch the Jets more than anything, and I have to say I've consumed a lot less sports than I have, as of my family and doing shit like this and things like that. I have consumed so many less sports than I usually typically do because life just takes over sometimes, right? Life just takes over, and it becomes harder and harder to do shit like this. So there was that. I just wanted to throw some commentary on that because that's ridiculous. And we've seen it and we're going to see it more because the power tripping in the NFL for these officials and for the dumb shit is real. So let's move on because I have a series of things to throw in here. So first off, we have this. Boom. Patriots fire head coach Gerard Mayo, league sources tell ESPN. Now, this happened 2 days ago. So you got John Ziegler, a former guest over here, live by DEI, die by DEI. So I don't know if this is necessarily a DEI hire. I don't know if I agree with John. He says it. But Nate G says ESPN Plus, I get 90% of all hockey. I think I'm blacked out even on ESPN Plus, Nate. My Devils get blacked out because it's where they they put that regional shit. Nate G coming back in, catch the Netflix Raw debut. I watched the last hour and a half. I missed the first hour. I have to go back, but it was basically a pay-per-view. I didn't put it on the run sheet because I will fucking talk all night about it, but it was basically a pay-per-view the way they ran it. A ton of really good matches. The LA crowd is fucking terrible. Okay. Do not do anything but basketball in Los Angeles. That's just what we learned. The LA crowd had no pop for some huge moments, and it was really bothersome. The Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan match was incredible. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. How far the women's divisions have come is sorry, what the fuck did I do? How far the women's divisions have come is absolutely miraculous. That we're watching matches where back in the day they had to do so many gimmicks. They had to do your bra and panties matches. They had to do so many different gimmicks because the women were hot and not very competent at wrestling. They were decent, but for every Lita, you had a Nikki Bella, right? Like they weren't very good wrestlers, but now the whole entire group is really good fucking wrestlers. So the women do a great job, and Rhea and Liv were fantastic. They have great chemistry in the ring, and Rhea getting that win, a little surprising. I wonder what they're going to do now at Liv. It's going to be interesting, but we'll see what goes on there. I caught the Uso versus Drew match. The Uso versus Drew match was really good as well until the end. I didn't like the roll up. Spoiler. I didn't like the quick roll up. I thought that the work was great, and I understand what they're going for with the whole entire scene with how Drew is super emotional and lets him get ahead of him. I get that. I didn't like the finish of that match. What else? Talking about Nate G saying it was great until Hulk Hogan got booed, and the CM Punk Rollins match. Hulk Hogan getting booed was expected, right? It was expected. I don't. It's LA. They're a bunch of leftists. They're retarded. What are you going to do? I thought Hulk was fine promoting his beer, the Real American beer. I'm okay with that, but conservative dads. Love me my ultra right conservative dads as well. And I actually liked the Rollins CM Punk match. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the crowd hurt the match. And that's the thing. I thought the crowd hurt the match because there were plenty of moments in that match because Rollins and Punk have great chemistry. And there were plenty of moments in that match that should have gotten a much bigger pop. And they were just so fucking flat. It was embarrassing. Nate saying Macaulay Culkin got the biggest pop of the night. He did. He did. Macaulay Culkin looks great. Good for him. And so is X-Pac. How great Sean Waltman looks after some rough fucking times. X-Pac looks healthy. He looks great for the first time in a real long time. So I'm pumped for that. Nate G saying they cheered Taker. Seeing Taker come out was awesome. And here's the thing. Here's where I'm going with this. I saw a post on Facebook, somebody that I'm friends with was like, this isn't political. They booed Hogan, but they cheered Taker. Here's the huge difference. Taker made one short video with him and Kane with Trump in between saying we support him. That was it. Taker wasn't on, on his podcast explicitly talking about it consistently. He wasn't really going on tour with Trump and doing things. He made that one video. I was basically like, hey, back in Trump, fuck off. Okay. The polar opposite of Hogan, which was at the fucking RNC, did a few stops with Trump on the campaign trail. So like where one was just like, hey, I support the guy. I'm going to vote for him. You should too. The other one was actively campaigning with Hulk. And Hulk has had a tumultuous relationship anyway with some of the things that have gone on in the past. So that is also there. But it's like there is a difference between how the two supported Trump. And obviously, the support for Trump was, heavier from whatchamacallit, Hulk Hogan. Nate T going saying, I hated the Punk match. Punk takes 2 GTSs, 1 pedigree, no sells a superplex, wasted a rare buckle bomb and got a stomp after and kicked out. Make finishers great again. Nate, this is the thing. And it's what I expected out of it because, like I said, they treated this like a pay-per-view. And with the pay-per-views, you get the kickouts of the finishers consistently. And they were playing up the storyline of Rollins being, overzealous and things like that. And Punk taking the more calm approach. So I get it. And it bothers me too when you see so many kickouts. But we saw the same thing in the Rhea Liv match, right? We saw the same thing in the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan match where it was finisher. Liv had that amazing spot where she did the Guerrero suplexes into a frog splash, which was a fucking great frog splash that she did. And, you would think obviously it's not her finisher, but watching Rhea kick out of that and, it was really good. It was really good. And they tried to do the same thing in the Punk match. They did a similar thing in the Drew McIntyre Uso match. And I didn't watch the first hour, so I don't know how they did it. They probably did the same way in the first hour. So they were really going for that. Nate T coming in saying, yeah, Hulk is not a good dude, but the reason all those LA clowns were at Raw. If it's about being a shitty guy, Logan Paul deserves way bigger boo. Here's the thing though. Logan Paul is current. Logan Paul's really talented and he plays the heel really well. And he's really good at his job. Like Logan Paul's a really good wrestler. I did like the Cena whole spot. I liked how he came out there and thanked everybody. And I find it really cool that ESPN is telling you the script. Like he's not going to win the Rumble, but they told you he's going to get 17 in so many words as he's saying, they're not going to let me. It's not going to happen. Never say never. I'm going after 17. He's going to find his way to WrestleMania. He's going to find his way to get 17. And I like that in a lot of ways. The WWE script makers told you what they were going to do. And now it's how is he going to get there, right? They're going to give the twists and turns. And I hope they tell a good story for Cena's final run with the company through WrestleMania, because I think it'll be awesome to watch him get 17. I think if you're asking me, I don't think they want him to get the 17 championship at WrestleMania. I believe he wins that 17 championship before, maybe defends it a few times and loses it at WrestleMania, going out as, this one last run. He loses to passing the torch, like he said, and I think it'll be great. Here's the thing. I don't think it'll be Gunther and Cena because I don't think they want Gunther to drop the championship. I really don't think they want him to drop it. So it's going to be interesting. Because like I said, I could see Cena getting the championship pre-WrestleMania. Obviously, that's how he gets to WrestleMania, right? He's going to be the main event and he's going to lose it at WrestleMania. And that's going to be his final goodbye, losing the championship at WrestleMania. I got my 17th. I made it to my final WrestleMania, blah, 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 going out on my horse, crowd cheers, right? So that's my prediction. I'm excited to see how WWE gets it there. Overall, it was a good start for WWE on Raw. I'm pretty sure I didn't see the numbers. I didn't look them up, but I'm pretty sure they got great numbers. Um, don't expect this every week. Don't expect this pay-per-view production. I really hope they don't have as many commercials every single week. I think that will drag it down if they go as commercial heavy. It felt some of the times those commercial breaks felt longer than it ever did on network television. So they need to cut down on some of it. Again, I think it was because it was a special event, special moment that they had so much going on with the promotions. But I'm not expecting that every single week. It's going to go back to just being Raw. It's going to go back to the storylines. Um, we're going to see when New Day has had a fuck enough of being disrespected, which I do like their storyline, how it's kind of like what they did to Big E. Everyone's kind of pissed at them and they're not getting their time to talk. So I do like that whole segment of it. Again, they have good storylines going, and it's for the first time in a real long time, there are storylines to get interested in. And it's not just wrestle match, create the storyline through wrestling match, angry, finish that thing, on to next one's built. Like there is legitimate storylines, there's legitimate reasons to get invested in all the feuds for the most part. So it's in a good place. I didn't watch NXT tonight. Obviously, I'm here. I did not watch it beforehand, but NXT is also good. SmackDown's going to be good on Friday. They got some big matches going on. So WWE did good for themselves. And I think that they need it. Wrestling needs to be pulled out. It's in a hole between, the indies are fine because the indies are still doing their thing. But outside of that, it's difficult to continue right now because their fans are waning. So they need good storylines. They need this good stuff. So I'm excited. Speaking of wrestling, I want to give a shout out in our backyard in Poughkeepsie. Awesome Championship Wrestling had their first ever promotion, their first ever event over at the Civic Center here, the Nishawat Center. And it was a great lineup. Had Matt Riddle and Nick Nemeth, aka whatchamacallit. God, he's Dolph Ziggler, one of my favorite wrestlers. Nick Nemeth and Matt Riddle were the main event. They had some good names there. They had formerly Enzo Amore. He was over there wrestling. They had good names. I didn't go to the event. It was a Saturday. When it comes out, I do want to watch the event because that's really cool to have that promotion start in our backyard. And I'm hoping it could take off because more indies, the better. The more opportunities to give up and coming wrestlers, chances to really wrestle. And they had some great names. I know Tommy Dreamer was there. Tommy Dreamer's everywhere. He's fantastic. So, all right, enough wrestling. We can make this a wrestling podcast if we wanted to. But back to the foosball. So, right here, we have Patriots firing Gerard Mayo after a single season. That was news, and that was big news. And then, not too much longer, a few days later, today to be exact, Antonio Pierce was fired after one season by the Raiders. And I also want to throw in that Doug Peterson is out after 3 years with the Jaguars. So it has been, a bloodbath here in terms of people getting fired. Now, the ones I want to focus on here, Gerard Mayo, back to him, fired after one season. Now, this one season, I have to say, I thought that he actually got a good amount out of Drake May. I thought Drake May showed that he could play. Now, there's not much talent around Drake May. That's not a good football team. And I thought Gerard Mayo did the best that he could with a bad football team, and to be given just one season with that team really sucks. Okay. Not great. And then you have a similar situation with Antonio Pierce, where I think there's a better team for the Raiders. I do think he has a better team, but again, not that much to work with there. You have what's O'Donnell, whatever the hell his name is, quarterback over there for the Raiders, a no name. They need a QB. They got rid of Carr for this other kid. They need a quarterback badly. There is some more talent on the Raiders, but Pierce is out after 1 year. And then Doug Peterson's back on the market. Now, my Jets have been interested in all the things going on with, the market, and the hot commodity right now is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is the guy that everybody wants. The Bears canned Eberflus too. Yeah, they canned them. Nate saying the Raiders were so bad. The Raiders were bad. Again, I think they have more talent than the Patriots had on the roster overall. They were bad. Don't get me wrong. But their first year, they're establishing themselves. They're getting their whole groups together. I think a 1 year firing is terrible. But back to Vrabel. So Vrabel's the hot commodity. Everybody wants Mike Vrabel. And of course, the Jets wanted him as well. Now, I put on X because it's the most fucking Jets thing ever to do. The Jets interviewed Mike Vrabel. Now, Mike Vrabel vocally said they asked him about the Jets job. And he said, if I like the GM, it's something I would consider. The Jets have not hired a GM. Okay. They didn't hire him. Why would you bring Mike Vrabel in for an interview without a GM when he stated that probably the only way he would come there is if there was a good GM that he likes? This is the type of shit that the Jets pull that just make me want to pull my fucking hairs out. And now I have a lot of it to pull. Like, what a bonehead move. You were never going to hire him. But here's the thing. Did Vrabel put pressure on them? Which I think could be it. Did Vrabel put pressure on them and say, hey, interview me now or you're not going to get the chance? Because this report came out from Aditi Kankahabwala. I can't say her name. I'm sorry, Aditi. But this happened 2 days ago. Was told that Mike Vrabel's dalliance with the Jets was to put pressure on the Patriots to make a move. With a young, incredibly promising QB who improved every week despite little talent around him, more cap space than anyone in a stable ownership, of course, the New England job ranks high. Yeah. So, the Jets were used. Bottom line, in typical Jets fashion, the Jets were used. And it's not surprising. It's not the first time. Remember when Tyreek Hill used the Jets to get to the Dolphins, which is hilarious now that he basically wants out of the Dolphins. Such a prima donna. Pretty happy the Jets didn't get him, actually, because that would have been a shit show too. But, you look at this and it's like the Jets were used. Mike Vrabel fucking used the Jets to just get to a better situation for him. And you know what? Kudos to him. The Jets were stupid enough to do it, knowing you were never going to get him in there. And I love Jets Twitter. We're like, lock the doors. Don't let him leave. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Don't let him leave. Come on. He was never going to stay. He told you the one way that he may come to play to be your coach. And you couldn't even do that. You're interviewing all these head coaching candidates. Great. You don't have a GM. What head coach worth the shit is going to want to come to you? Maybe a rookie? Rex Ryan's hell-bent on coming back. He had his interview today, and he seems to think he's going to be the next head coach. But honestly, if I'm an actual aspiring head coach or an experienced head coach that maybe is going to get another shot and is probably decent, why would I consider the Jets if there's no GM yet? If I can't sit down, talk to the GM, the man that's going to be my boss, and see if we're simpatico and we have the same philosophy, are we going to do this the backwards way, the way the Jets always do shit? Are we going to hire the head coach and then make sure the GM is on board with whatever the fuck Woody Johnson wants and the head coach wants? This is going to go so backwards. They're interviewing all these candidates, and Jets Twitter is like all over the interview for all these candidates. For what? No head coach worth the shit is going to want to come to a team without a GM. It makes no goddamn sense if we're being honest about anything here. So it's insane. Nate's saying my Patriots might have two QBs. Milton was making some great plays. Yes, Milton was slinging it. He has good athleticism. My whole thing on that, Nate, is does anybody have game film on Milton? When you see these quarterbacks come in and they're fucking rocketing and throwing piss missiles, making plays, there's a huge thing on game film. If the team can break down your tendencies and can go at your weaknesses, then you're screwed. If you don't have any game film, if nobody knows anything about you outside of some preseason games, which is very vanilla, then you have a chance of looking good. Let me see what Milton looks like if he plays 6 games. Now he has a bunch of game film on him. Defenses can adjust to him. They can make him play to his weaknesses instead of his strengths. And then that's the mark of a good quarterback, right? They have film on you. They're trying to take away what you do best, but you're better at them than they are. And you can do what you do best regardless of what they do. So I do always take a step back when I see a guy that has barely any film or no film come into a game, light it up, make some good plays, and then we wonder why in 3 weeks they're bad. Because people get game film, they know what they could do and what they can't do. Nate also coming. If anyone should have a second round, it's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, yes. And why aren't we thinking of Gruden? Like the Jets haven't made a hint about Gruden, but they should. But they need to get a GM in there. and let the GM sit down with these head coaching candidates and let the GM do his fucking job. I'm just maybe these are preliminaries and they're going to hire the GM and the GM has to do secondaries if they're interested. I don't know, but it's so ass backwards. I don't know why we're even considering it without a GM. But on top of that, I want to go back and talk about my Jets a little more because we have this man looming over us. Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, member of now the 500 touchdown club, and had his best game of the season and final game, 4 touchdowns. I think it was like 274 yards. I can look right here and I have his stats up. Haha. He had, 274, 4 touchdowns. He threw that lousy pick early on, but had a great game. 112 QBR. And I composed some numbers because when people think of Aaron Rodgers right now and they think of the Jets, they think he didn't play well. He played like shit all year. And you look at his final numbers, 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. His QBR is 48.2. Don't get me wrong. And he did do some terrible things this year. He wasn't as good as, Aaron Rodgers can be. But everyone making out like he is awful. Let me give you his numbers because you look at the breakdown here and it's I guess it might be hard to see for you guys. But through the first 4 games, the Jets were 2-2. They lost Monday Night Football to the San Francisco 49ers. Not surprising. They beat the Titans. They beat the Pats. And then they lost in a really awful game against Denver. But now we see that Denver was actually a pretty good team. They had a great defense. And we kind of allowed Bo Nix to kind of get unleashed. Then they had the NFL London games that they went to. And this was the start of a 13 games where they went 3-10. They were awful. They had fourth quarter leads in 10 games. The defense blew, I think, all of those except for maybe 1 or 2. They had the ball last in I think 6 or 8 of those games, and they could not, with the 1 score to go win or tie, and they couldn't do it. So these are indictments on the defense and Aaron Rodgers, okay? These are indictments, but I want to put his numbers together for those last 13 games. Rodgers in his last 13 games, let me see. But here are the stats. He was 286 of 456 for 62.7%. So not amazing. 62.7 is not amazing. He had 3,048 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Or was it 24? 24 touchdowns and 10 picks. I mean, no, 23. I was right. He played well by the numbers, okay? By the numbers, if you're looking purely at numbers, he played well. He had some stinkers in there. Don't get me wrong. He had a bad game against Arizona that they lost. They got their asses kicked, 31-6. He had a pretty poor game against Indy. They lost that by 1. They had the final possession there, and he did not play well. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't throw the ball well. He didn't throw a lot, for a lot of yardage. He was not accurate against Seattle. Like, he had stinkers. Buffalo, he was awful. But he also had really good games with chances to win. And the issue is this team didn't know how to win late, and they should have. When you have a guy like Garrett Wilson, who is the second receiver in Jets history to catch 100 balls, he joins elite classes to have the first 3 seasons with 1,000 yards. He's gotten better every single year. And I have a massive problem with how once Davante Adams got there, they did not scheme Garrett Wilson open enough. I get it. The chemistry with Davante and Aaron Rodgers is fantastic. But there's no way Davante Adams should be getting the brunt of the balls thrown to him. And he shouldn't be getting plays schemed for him. Maybe some, don't get me wrong, is Davante Adams. But your scheme game should be around Garrett Wilson. Period. That's where the offensive passing game should circulate around. He is your number 1 receiver by a mile. Like, even with Davante Adams factored in, by a fucking mile. He should be the guy. And like I said, I'm mad about a guy who caught over 100 balls and had 1,000 yards again, right? I think he had 7 touchdowns. He had a great season by numbers. But when you look at the games and you watch them, it's almost like at times Garrett Wilson wasn't in the game plan. And there should never be an offensive possession that Garrett Wilson is not a part of the game plan. Period. So that is, to me, a big indictment. And if Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams runs it back, which I get the sneaky suspicion that they are going to run it back, right? Because you're looking at this. if I am going to be the new head coach of the Jets, if I am an experienced head coach, I don't want to start off with some bullshit rookie that I'm the number 7 pick right now. We're not going to get Shador. We're not going to get Cam Ward. The Penn State kid's projected second round. He might not be there when we're there. Who knows? Second or third round, the Penn State kid, who people are gushing after now. But if I'm a veteran head coach, I want to run it back with Aaron Rodgers. I'm coming into that interview going, hey, if Aaron's not here, don't consider me. Because Aaron Rodgers gives a veteran head coach the best chance to win. Tyrod doesn't give you the best chance to win. We don't know if Jordan Travis is going to be ready. And he's a rookie, essentially, Jordan Travis. He will come in next year as a rookie. He can't fully practice yet. The injury's bad. So you have hurt, you have injured good. You have Tyrod, who's good, not great. You never want him to start a full season for you. You need spot games here and there. You need him to play 2 or 3 games. He could do that. Keep the ship, keep you around 500. He's good enough for that. But if I'm a veteran head coach, give me Aaron Rodgers. If I'm a rookie, maybe, if you're guaranteeing me 4 years, 5 years-ish, and I can go get the kid I want and work with him, okay, that's different. Salah and Wilson situation didn't work out, obviously, but that's a different situation. But if I'm a veteran, if I'm someone like, if they go after, I know, hey, people don't want Nagy or Arthur Smith, but those are names out there. If they go after Doug Peterson, if they go after Gruden, if they go after Pete Carroll, like Nate G said, I'm looking at it going as them. I'm like, give me Aaron Rodgers. You out of your fucking mind? Give me 1 season with him. Draft someone. I don't care. But let that kid watch Aaron Rodgers play. I think I can win with him after the numbers I saw and after what I saw in the last game. He didn't play bad, especially the last 8-10 games, except for Buffalo. He had a bad game in Buffalo. But it's like, if I'm a veteran coach, that's who I'm going for. So there's all that. The Vrabel stuff is hilarious because that's so Jets that they would get used. But either way, that's what we got going on there. So I am going to shift gears away from the Jets and let's jump into some politics. And that's where we're going to go the rest of the way with this. We're going to go politics wise. Yay for politics. And we have some shit going on right now. It is a very interesting time to enjoy politics right now. So we had some big news coming in to yesterday, not today, yesterday. But Eric Doherty's tweet here, breaking Justin Trudeau. I intend to resign and blah, blah, blah. Let's listen to what Fidel Justin Trudeau has to say.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter.
So that's Trudeau. It was a little low. And he was basically saying that if he has to fight internal battle, here's a quote. I intend to resign as Liberal Party leader, as Prime Minister of Canada after party selects the next leader. If I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option. He was never the best option. What I find hilarious about all of this is if you really look at the reality of it, Trump bullied Trudeau into resigning. Like, the worst thing Justin Trudeau did at the end of his career here is to have that meeting with Trump, because immediately after that meeting he starts calling you the governor. He starts saying the 51st state's gonna be Canada. He disrespects you worldwide every single chance he can get on Truth. It goes on X, it goes around the world, it's newsworthy, and you are weak as can be, and your country sees it, your party sees it, the world sees it. I look at this as Trump bullied Justin Trudeau into resigning. That's it. You had Cynthia Freeland leave. She was the number 2. And we know she's a World Economic Forum plant. And that's basically saying that like the far left has abandoned him. And he basically has been ridiculed by his people, by his opposition party internally, because he is weak. And I think it's hilarious that Trump was able to bully him. Nate G coming in with some last few football stuff. Jameis, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Justin Fields, upcoming free agents. Not a single one of them, Nate. Not a one of them I want there. If anything, go trade for JJ McCarthy. If Sam Darnold's going to stay, go trade for JJ. If you could trade for JJ reasonably, do it up. Then get whatever fucking quarterback coach you want, because they'll be happy to work with JJ McCarthy. Even though I don't believe in JJ McCarthy, I don't think he's going to be all that great, but that's who you would want to go after. And he also says if Pete Carroll can fix Geno Smith, he can fix Jameis. I mean, Jameis don't need fixing. Be nice to Jameis. Anyway, so that's Trudeau. He resigns. He was bullied. And I think it's hilarious. Oh, I didn't see this. Update. Boom. Pierre Poilievre has a 92% chance of becoming Canada's next prime minister via the poly market. Seems inevitable. I mean, here's the thing. Let me make that one bigger. This guy is the Nigel Farage of Canada, okay? And we mentioned that Nigel has become a politician. Reform is now the biggest party in England. I think they just passed the Tories. I don't know if they became the biggest party in England, but they passed the Tories last week, 2 weeks ago. And Nigel Farage has been on the wrong side of almost everything conservative now. He comes in as the reform leader and he's saying all the right things, and he gets in as a PM, and all of a sudden he is very center. He Boris Johnson the fuck out of everybody. And that's who Pierre Poilievre is, because he talks tough when he wants to, and he's had his moments with the public and things like that with the media. But when he's needed, when he needs to be a conservative, he's not. He was against the truckers with their protest. And I mean, there's a few things that I'd have to dig. And you want more, go to Rebel News with Ezra Levant. Rebel's fantastic, and they cover all this stuff in Canada. But go to there, and Post Millennial has a lot of this stuff too. Obviously, Post Millennial based out of Canada. So, but yeah, he'd be an upgrade, 100% an upgrade over Fidel Trudeau over there. But it's not like it's this massive conservative victory, because what we're finding out is they are all center. Every single one of them. He's not going to come in and do this conservative sweeping whatever the fuck they want to do. And he really can't with the way parliaments are set up, because it's not two parties. So there is no forced coalitions like there are in the United States. He has to form a government by building a coalition. And if he can't form a government, then, they'll have to vote again. And if he does form a government, it's via coalition. So he's going to have to play to the coalitions, and he's not going to be able to be super conservative. Nate going in. Pierre knows a shit show he's going to inherit. He said on Jordan Peterson's show, the Liberals partied hard and they'll inherit the hangover. This is true. I didn't watch Jordan Peterson's show with Pierre Poilievre, but I heard it was a shit show though. I heard it was not, if you were looking for an inspiration, I heard it was not the greatest, but I don't, hearsay's hearsay. I'll have to go watch it myself when I eventually have the time. But like I said, I'm still on the kick of just like not listening to anything political right now, just looking it up and shit. Maybe I'll go look up some clips and I'll do that thing. I'll watch a few clips and I'll make up my mind without listening to the whole damn thing. But yeah, so I mean, it's better. It is significantly better. They do have a lot to clean up. And again, like I said, with the parliamentary system, you can never go full on that way. It's same thing with our system, because even within our two parties, there's caucuses that are pushing and pulling. Obviously, the Uniparty has huge strength. So there's that. Nate saying I didn't watch it either. Jordan was on Pierce today and recapped it. That's good. I mean, Pierce Morgan just, God, you want to talk about a grifter. Like, he's doing great stuff right now, but the man is just such a fucking grifter. Anyway, we're going to keep going here, because where you have one individual resigning, we have this beautiful moment where Donald Trump is getting his election certified by Kamala. End Wokeness has this. Kamala Harris becomes the first woman to certify her own election loss. Let's watch this beautiful moment where Kamala certifies it. And then, as much as I think Mike Johnson is a fucking snake Uniparty member, his smirk and his reaction is beautiful. So let's get a nice look at this.
70. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris.
Hilarious that she has to sit there and swallow that. She does a lot of swallowing though. She's good at that. Even though Congress is so fucking fake. And I hate this.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. 70.
So here's the thing that I want everyone to realize about this. Nate coming in when he has Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker on the pile on the gay woke dude. So good. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, Pierce bringing them on and even adding that part to his repertoire is massive. He's doing all the right things. He's pushing all the right buttons. So I'm not mad at him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at Pierce at all. I want anyone to check. Am I live on fucking Rumble? Because it says I'm streaming everywhere else. I'm not streaming on Rumble, and I don't know why. Maybe I have to do better at putting out my channel. But yeah, no, I have no idea why. Maybe I got to fix it up on my end. But anyway, one thing I want to point out here, and I want everyone to recognize, Kamala just read out that she got fucking shellacked in the Electoral College, and she's certifying it, and she went out and she's like, it is my duty to certify this as it is a sacred duty to do it, and blah, 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 blah. If this was any sort of close, if this was any sort of competitive to the point where they would have protested it, Kamala would never have certified this. Kamala would have done exactly what Trump wanted Pence to do. Kamala would have went up there and said, it is the power of the vice president to call for certain states that there is a controversial result to go back and to recount and to redo their election numbers. And that is what we are going to do today. This certification is postponed. 100% Kamala Harris would not have certified Donald Trump if it was close or questionable. No way. No way. It is because she got so shellacked that she could not do it. And that is the only reason she is up there. That is the only reason she's talking about her sacred oath for democracy. And the only reason for any of that shit. Because if it was any sort of close, you bet your ass Kamala Harris would not have been up there and she would not have been certifying this election. She would have been doing everything that they accused Donald Trump and the right and insurrection and stuff like that. They would have done it all. But it was because of you guys out there voting, going out, voting for Trump, doing your part, whatever state you're in. And it was, it's, me, I went out there and voted. It's all the people that are having a voice on YouTube and in podcasting that did our part, whether it's a small channel like ours or a larger channel like Patrick Bet David and Timcast and the Daily Wire guys and Glenn Beck and shit like that. Dan Bongino did fucking yeoman's work out there. And it doesn't matter how many it is. Was it such a combined team effort? Now, one thing I didn't have on the sheet, but I do want to bring up is we're seeing that team effort starting to fray now. We're seeing the conservatives and the left of center, but just not fucking crazy left of center people, the ones that couldn't vote for the left anymore, but were kind of willingly jumping into this coalition on the right to vote for Trump, starting to slowly fray. We're seeing it because we're seeing also just MAGA, the full-on hardcore MAGA, Trump does no wrong people also hanging out there. Okay. And there's a blend of them that are also former leftists and people on the left that are fraying. And we're going to see this more and more because as the policies go down, as things start to go, this was always going to be the way it was going to be, everybody. It was never going to stay this kumbaya giant coalition. Even with RFK and Tulsi jumping in, even with Elon going in there, we were never going to see this kumbaya. It is going to reset again, guys. It's our job to make sure that we don't allow bullshit candidates to win primaries anymore. That is the thing. It is our job to make sure that we get out there and we continue to push populists, paleo-conservatives, whatever it is that you want to call it, the ones that aren't neocons, the ones that aren't centrists, the ones that aren't warmongers. It is our job. It's our job again in the media space. in the YouTube space, in the podcast space, in the media space, but it's also your job as the voter to be diligent and to know if the candidate that you're voting for is a piece of shit. Okay, period. Because I had an article on congestion taxes in New York City, and they put the congestion tax in. It's $9 to get into certain parts of Manhattan because they want less cars, and it's not going to do anything. It's just going to fucking run people's pockets. And there's some Democrats pushing back against it, and there's Republicans pushing back against it. And it was clearly said that Hochul didn't do this last year when she wanted to because it could have hurt them in November. Now she doesn't give a fuck, but it looks like it might hurt her gubernatorial chances because she did this. People are going to remember this. It could hurt her in New York City. One of the people that's talking about this because he wants to be governor is Mike Lawler, a representative in New York. I don't like Mike Lawler. And the thing is, I'm part of the area committee over here. He touches in our area in my county. I don't like him. There's a chance that he's going to really run for governor. He's really going to do it. And I really want a primary challenger to step up. Now, the thing is, he was a good little soldier for the Republicans. And this is what happens with a lot of these people. He didn't rock the boat with McCarthy, did everything McCarthy wanted as a freshman. He didn't rock the boat with Johnson, did everything Johnson wanted, has never voted against him ever. Participates in all the CRs, all the omnibus, puts his little pork in there so he can come back and say, I got this amount of money. I got you this. I won this for us. And it's like, no, you won this, but you also raised my taxes because you sent X billion dollars out to the rest of the fucking world. And this is where we need to be diligent. Okay, guys, this is where we need to be diligent to make sure that post-Trump, which is coming soon, guys, 4 years is quick. It's going to be blink of an eye. We're making sure that the candidates that are up for re-election in 2 years, the ones that are up new in 2 years, that we are paying attention to who they are, and we are getting involved to find primary candidates if they're shitty ones, okay? Or becoming a primary candidate yourself. You don't got to be a big shot. Just throw your name in the hat. You never know. You never know. But all right, where was I? Kamala, she sucks. Happy she lost. Nate G coming in saying Transition Integrity Project indicates you're not lying. No, exactly. Anyone that hasn't read it, go read the Transition Integrity Project. They had all sorts of shit planned out as a fail-safe. If it was close, they had lawyers ready. Who knows? They still might try to split up. They talked about fucking splitting up. They're the ones that talk all the time about seceding, certain places seceding. It's all in there. So go give that a read if you haven't yet. But yeah, no, it's absolutely the case that she would have never certified this if it was any sort of close. But all right, let's get Kamala's ass out of here. Let's go to the next piece here. And this, I'm not going to go crazy and go through it, but Mario Nawfal put up the 158 Democrats who voted against deporting sex offenders. Now, Nancy Mace put up a bill to deport illegal sex offenders. And it's, as noted, all the Democrats basically in lockstep voted against it. Going down the list, 158 of them. Ted Lieu's a notable one. Here's the thing, too. None of these motherfuckers are notable, right? There's very few. This is the House of Representatives and some and senators, I believe. I think they're both in here. But Ro Khanna's in there. That's a disappointing name. I know he votes left. I get it. But Ro Khanna is one of the rare semi-likable guys that speaks some common sense, that has a kind of populist left mindset. And again, I figured he would. He votes mostly left. He's like Fetterman. Fetterman talks well. Says the right things. Can't talk well still. Says the right things a lot of the times lately. He's not always right. He's still on the left, but he votes everything left. So we're just going to go down some notable names. You have Ro Khanna. You have Ted Lieu, who's known. Nancy Pelosi fucking in her walker. Adam Schiff's bitch ass. Maxine Waters. Mike Thompson. Colorado has nobody noteworthy. Connecticut has no one noteworthy. Delaware has no one noteworthy. Here's the thing. This is the thing. None of these people are noteworthy. There are so many people that aren't noteworthy in Congress. They are not exceptional people. Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz, as Rush used to call her, on Rush Limbaugh, miss you, Rush. Over in Georgia, Hank Johnson, I guess, is known. Hawaii, no one gives a fuck. Illinois. You look at all these names. Just these are all people that don't care about you. They do not want to deport illegal aliens that are sex offenders. Like they hate you guys. Like, it's people exaggerate. Everyone exaggerate. They fucking hate us. They really do. They don't care. Ayanna Presley, that asshole, only famous because she's a part of the squad. She's not a big member of the squad. No one cares about her. Like, the squad's so funny because the squad, again, there's people that got voted out, right? But the squad is AOC and Ilhan Omar. No one else matters, guys. Rashida Tlaib, another one, squad member. No one gives a fuck about Rashida Tlaib. She's not important. So here's an interesting one because I pointed this out in a tweet and I'm highlighting them right here. And let me scroll down right here real quick. I'll go back. There is my tweet real quick. So I wrote, remember when Dean Phillips ran for president as the more reasonable, non-crazy leftist on the Democratic ticket? Yeah, they're all the same. And here he is. Ilhan Omar is expected, right? Dean Phillips, again, he's similar to that Ro Khanna. Again, I didn't know shit about Dean Phillips, okay, beforehand. But he just ran. And he just ran as like the middle of the run guy. Like, we've gone too far left. We need to come back to some decency and be a little more logical. We're further left than we should be. And this asshole, after he runs that campaign, eventually drops out. He had no chance of winning. He was never going to beat Biden. But here he is, just towing the leftist line. Let's keep going back up here. So I pointed that out and got a lot of nice responses. Benny Thompson from Mississippi. Corey Bush is her dumbass. Rob Menendez. I mean, why? Who else? Jamal Bowman, who's out, thank God. Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrats right now, voted for that. AOC, obviously. Jerry Nadler. Let's see. North Carolina, anybody notable? No one cares. Ohio, no one cares. Oregon, nobody cares. Pennsylvania, no one cares about them. Rhode Island, no one cares. James Clyburn over in South Carolina. No one cares. Tennessee, Texas. None of these people should be here in Texas. But Jasmine Crockett's dumbass she's getting famous for just being stupid. And it's hilarious when the left cheers for her for being an idiot. Virginia, no one notable. Washington, Pramila Jayapal, another one of the pseudo squad members. And Wisconsin, no one matters. So yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. They hate you. There's nothing else to say, but these people hate you. If something happens to you, something happens to your daughter or your wife, they don't care. They don't care. They don't want the person actually anything to happen to them. They don't want them deported. It should be an automatic deportation at the minimum. At the minimum. Automatic deportation if you're a sex offender. I don't see a problem with that. Hell, I want to take, depending on, most sex offenders, put them on a fucking island, even if they're Americans. Get them the fuck out of here. I mean, sorry, not sorry. But yeah, those were the people that hate you the most. And you need to know that. So we're going to go on over here. I thought this was interesting. I actually didn't listen to this. It's not long. It's 27 seconds. But Unusual Whales has breaking. Kevin O'Leary says he is near to a deal to buy TikTok to prevent it from being banned in the US. Now, Kevin O'Leary, I like. He seems like he's like coming out as this mega conservative and being based as shit. I don't think Kevin O'Leary gives a fuck about politics, if we're being quite honest. I firmly believe that all Kevin O'Leary cares about is making money. And making a whole lot of it and making more of it. And he stated that over and over and over. And he has said flat out, I will vote for whoever makes New York better because I want to do business in New York. And I want to vote for whoever is going to make it easier for me to do business in New York and make a ton of money. So he's going to be big at getting Kathy Hochul out. He's going to get Eric Adams out. It might bite him in the ass because he might get Cuomo there. So we'll see. But he's going to be big on that. Now, he's making a smart business move here. He's joining onto the team to try the American team to buy TikTok from, who is it, ByteDance that has fucking TikTok in China, to buy them because it is going to make them boku bucks to make sure this doesn't get banned so that every fucking American teenie can continue to just have their brains sucked out by scrolling. But you know what? He's trying to make money, trying to be smart there. So let's see what O'Leary had to say here. Quick 27-second clip.
And we want to. And then on midday, 12:05, Trump will be who we have to work with to close the deal in the months ahead. So I wanted to let him know, as well as others in his cabinet, that we're doing this, and we're going to need their help.
Well, that's going to be a very interesting story to watch. You know, I want to go back to that, but I want to.
And, you know, and obviously, it's an obvious thing that O'Leary and Trump probably have a prior relationship, both being business people in New York. So I don't think O'Leary is someone who's not familiar with Trump or hasn't worked with Trump before or been around him in some capacity. And I don't think he's anti-Trump. And I think that's the biggest thing too. He's not anti-Trump. He is pro-business. And that's going to work in his favor. And if you're nice to Trump, Trump's nice to you. So I thought that was interesting. All the kids, if you have kids and your kids use TikTok, you could tell them, hey, you might not get your shit spied on by China anymore. It's going to be the U.S. government spying on you now, and they already do. So whatever. It's not. At least it's not China, right? I don't know what's worse. I'm being quite honest sometimes, but at least it's not China. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to see if O'Leary and really breaks through. And it was smart of him to give the plea and be like, hey, we're going to need you guys. We're going to need you to kind of stay Congress from banning it because we want to make it an American company. And if that's the case, that changes a lot. I mean, I think there's going to still be push to change Section 230, to change the rules on social media. But I think that, you know, the outright ban, again, Kevin O'Leary is going to be the guy that came in and saved the day for a ton of kids because they didn't get their shit banned. That's huge. That's huge. And he's going to make a lot of money doing it. But all right, this is our headline story coming in. We're probably not going to watch this full video, but Sagar and Jetty tweeted, X'd, whatever you want to say, posted. Here's the full video from Mark Zuckerberg announcing the end of censorship and misinformation policies. Highly recommend you watch all of it as it's a tonal shift. So I will say this out the jump. When it comes to Zuck and when it comes to this whole entire ending the fact checkers and shit like that, guys, it's fake. He just doesn't want to get fucked over by Trump, okay? Bottom line is, he wants to make it seem like he's playing ball. He wants to make it seem like he's changed. Like he doesn't want to censor conservatives. Like he's seen the light, everybody. And people are saying like, this is the Elon factor because X is so free. And it's like, we're seeing Elon is not very free. Number one, we're seeing that. Okay. Slowly but surely, we're seeing Elon wanting to turn X into WeChat and kind of control shit. So be on guard with that when you're praising Elon, number one. Number two, we've kind of seen Zuckerberg going on this shift, doing doing the martial arts and getting in shape and admitting, saying, oh, it was kind of bad. It was badass watching Trump throw his fist up after he almost got shot, blah, blah, blah. This is all bullshit, guys. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. Mark Zuckerberg is a bullshit artist. And again, polar opposite. O'Leary trying to make money by bringing TikTok. Zuckerberg trying to save his ass and continue to make the money he's making by continuing to get users to stay there. Because he realized that, hey, if this was Kamala, I would go full bore on canceling anyone that voted for Trump. I would cancel their accounts yesterday. Yesterday, he would have canceled accounts. He would have banned, if Kamala won, if Biden or Kamala won, he would have banned every single major conservative news outlet. I'm not even kidding. Or would have just really limited them. Because here's the thing. He just sees the writing on the wall. This is a business move. Mark Zuckerberg is not our ally. He's not a friend. He is not somebody that is going to do great things. And, you know, just because fact checking's gone does not mean that he's not going to continue to shadow ban or fuck over people on the right. Okay. But I just want everyone to realize this isn't real. This is fake. None of this shit's real. This is quite literally, you are watching fiction. Nate going saying amazing what pumping iron and rolling jiu-jitsu will do to heal your brain, possibly. And I saw he did bring Dana White onto the board, and Dana White is based. But again, how real is it? Is it CYA? I see it all as CYA and fake. But let's listen to something Zuck has to say. Let's speed this up to 1.5. So maybe we can get through it if it's only 2 in 2-ish minutes.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots.
Oh God, it sounds more robotic. We're going back to 1. Holy shit. I didn't think he could sound more like a robot, but at 1.5, it really sounds more robotic. That was terrifying. We're going back to 1.
Around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly.
All right, so let's stop right there real quick. He is hitting on all the conservative buzzwords. Oh, it's political, drugs, child exploitation, terrorism. That is all the buzzwords that the people on the right want to hear. That is all of them. And again, he's not a moron. Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg is not a moron. He's a robot, but he's not a moron. This is a carefully crafted script in order to appeal to those on X and those conservatives that are just gonna rah, Zuck's one of us now, roar. Let's get him in the cabinet too. God, let's keep going.
Responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people.
Yes. We made a lot of complex systems, aka the FBI calling us and telling us we should do that because maybe it's against your terms of service. Calling your company and active people and saying, hey, maybe you should look into this. That is your complex system. Hey, your stuff should be arranged this way. Sure. Nate coming in. Child exploitation has nothing to do with free speech. Agreed. And do you remember what they fucking did to Sounds of Freedom? Holy shit. Let's continue here.
And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech.
The recent election. So it took 75 million people voting for a guy to sit there and say, maybe we should have free speech. A cornerstone of American republicanism. The American Republic is freedom of speech. But you're saying that, because of one guy winning, I think we should bring free speech back. Oh, so it's admitting that if one side wins, you want censorship. That because they want it, so it's okay to censor the one side. But when the other side wins, you know that they're a side that prioritizes free speech more. So let's get back to it. It is a admittance without admitting it. Here's the thing, everybody, don't be played a fool. Mark Zuckerberg's a leftist, okay? Do not be played a fool for this.
So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X.
This is hilarious. So already, and the thing is too, again, you want all you need to know about where this guy stands when the response to Elon buying X, Twitter, and turning into X was creating threads, was creating a bastion for leftists to go and be fucking crazy leftist. Okay, everybody? Like, this guy is a mooch. Replacing fact checkers with community notes, completely and totally biting off of Elon and trying to sit there and, for a company that was once ahead of the curve in terms of social media, to see him be so far behind the curve is actually music to my ears. Because I hope this fails. I hope community notes sucks on Facebook.
Starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth.
And here's the problem. You believe we're a democracy. That's a big problem. We're not a democracy. We're a republic. And I know people are like, that's semantics. People say them and they mean the same thing. And it's like, no, because they don't know what the fuck they mean. That's the problem. People don't know the difference and that there is a difference. They are not the same thing. They are not even similar in a lot of ways. And the thing is, eating that up and believing the friggin' leftist media. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this goddamn video.
But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust
You hired them
than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream.
Again, because one side won, and we know we could be facing real shit because we have been completely and totally biased, intentionally biased against one group of people to a discriminatory level. Now we're going to CYA. Now we're going to say it's okay to have a real discussion about biological sex. Fuck gender. Biological sex. We're going to say it's okay to now have a real discussion on immigration. Before it wasn't okay. Before it was racist to talk about immigration and how, anyone that, if they commit a crime, they shouldn't be here. It's a crime for them to step on here illegally. We should build that wall. All that shit was censored. That was all intentional. And Zuckerberg is sitting here trying to make the fact that he can make this video with a straight face. Again, robots don't have emotions, but the fact that anybody can make this video with a straight face after intentionally doing so much shit, they went so far left and they realized that the leftists don't play ball either, that they don't fucking pay the bills because half of them don't have jobs. Let's keep going.
Discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies.
And I just want to talk about the term inclusion that he used there. Again, buzzwords. The guy's a leftist. He uses all the buzzwords. Let's keep going.
To reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations.
So, before we're censoring your speech, you had no free speech. Now, we're just going to go for illegal shit. What it should have been the whole time. What it was for a little while. And again, don't fall for this shit, guys. I know we're streaming on Facebook right now. And we've been streaming on Facebook. It makes sense too, because it still has a massive platform. And, the content we're talking about does resonate with some people on there. But that does not mean that Facebook's about to become this bastion of truth. X is not a bastion of truth, guys. None of them are perfect. Rumble's not a bastion of truth. Kick's not a bastion of truth. YouTube, Twitch, none of them are. None of them are. Okay? They all have their problems. Let's keep going here.
And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platform.
And the thing is, too, humans design the filters. The humans are the ones that are inputting what words are flaggable words. So when he's saying this, he's acting as if, it wasn't our fault. The filters did it. And it's like, okay, even if you had an AI program running, you're the one that had to tell the AI what to look for. So it is still humans inputting what is wrong. So Nate's saying he has to do it in order to compete with X as well. Agreed, but X is shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. So I don't, I agree. He needs to do a shift. He needs to make it more friendly for conservatives and people on the right. He does. It's not even a question. But it's just, I don't want people to fall for this. And that's why I'm kind of picking apart this video, because I don't want people to then just dive headfirst and be like, hey, Facebook's free like X. We can go on there. Because it's still going to happen, everyone. we're all still going to get banned at some point. Because I promise you, if Trump doesn't win in 4 years, Facebook's right back. Right back to where it is. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, yeah, whoever after Trump, yeah, if he doesn't win, Trump can't win in 4 years. Okay, let's keep going.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
This is hilarious and so placating to the conservatives. Number one, what part of Texas? You going to fucking Dallas? You're going to go to Austin? Okay. What part of Texas are you going to? Where are you going to be is the question, okay? Are you going to be in leftist Texas? Or are you going to be in real Texas, number one? And it's so funny. We're moving out of California and we're bringing them to Texas. So they're going to be in with the real American people and they're going to be just like you. So when they're doing the content moderation, it's out of the goodness of being a good old American. Man, fuck this guy.
Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
Honestly, they should have put a filter with a flag behind them at this point because it's just so on its face. We're gonna protect America. Facebook is gonna be the bastion that protects America. It is us. Rely on me, Mark Zuckerberg, and my jujitsu, and I will protect American free speech and companies around the world. We're gonna push back. Roar. Trust Facebook again.
The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that...
I can't wait till England comes after him. England's going to call for the arrest of... France already wants Elon in jail. Maybe they're going to go after Zuck too.
...can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship.
Stop! This motherfucker worked with them! He worked with them! And even before that, under Obama, he worked with Obama. He was all on board with BLM. BLM was fucking everywhere. He was on board with it. There was never anything against anyone. They called for violence with BLM, and it was okay on Facebook. They pushed all the bullshit narratives that Obama pushed when talking about hands up, don't shoot, and all this fucking bullshit. And he was right along with it. To say that the government, to blame the Biden administration for saying that's why you censored things, fuck this guy. Everyone should leave Facebook now. Fuck him. All conservatives should just dip out and destroy his whole business model. We're not going to, because there's still a vast majority like people stay. But man, a mass exodus from Facebook would be exactly what this asshole deserves. Trying to blame it on the Bidens for the fact that you have been a censorious piece of shit since the last 20 years.
By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now,
motherfuckers talking about Section 230, and it's not just the House right there. It is a Congress that's sitting there talking about Section 230 because they are publishing and not doing their job. They are being editors. They're being editors. They're not just having a platform. They are editing and censoring. So they want to go after them. Sure.
Now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect.
It's complex. You and your peon brains can never understand what we do. You don't know how to code like I do. It's so complex. Trust me, I'm Mark Zuckerberg. Rawr. Boomers love LifeLog. I mean, Facebook, yeah. Boomers do love it.
There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line...
He's talking about child porn, by the way.
...is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
The bottom line is, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, okay? What an absolute piece of shit that this guy is. To sit there and, I mean, pander. Grift. You want to talk about grifting? That's fucking grifting. Right there, wrong way. That's grifting. That right there. You want to talk about a fucking grift? That guy. That asshole. Like, holy shit. And people are going to watch that and they're going to cheer him on. And they are going to be so happy that Zuckerberg has seen the light and that he's become, he's one of us now. Look at another person Trump has changed. Trump didn't change him. Zuckerberg's the same guy he always was. He's the same leftist he always was. Okay. There's a difference between him and Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary just wants to make money, and Kevin O'Leary never give a fuck about who's in office as long as he can keep making money. Zuck picked sides very early on. Very early on in the Facebook existence, Zuck picked sides. Okay. And it became under Obama years when it was popular to be a leftist. He made it okay to be a leftist, to say hateful shit as a leftist against conservatives. That was fine. It was even fine during the Bush years. But it was not okay to push back the other way. And again, that started under Obama. The whole entire Facebook jail shit, that all started under Obama. And that's been going on for years, Facebook jail. And I've seen so many people talking about, I'm in Facebook jail. I just got out of Facebook jail again. And that was always a joke. This guy is full of shit. Blaming it on the government because he's an asshole that picked a side and censored. God, I wish conservatives had the balls to make a mass exodus out of that place. And I wish that, I'm a tiny channel. I would do it. I would 100% do it. But just me doing it's not going to do shit. Not going to do anything if I just pull all my stuff off Facebook and everything. No Instagram, no nothing. But if quite literally all of conservative media, the major ones, and then us tiny ones joined them, and we pulled all of our shit off of Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Meta was just barren, and we encouraged all of our conservative followers to do the same, God, it would be fucking beautiful to watch him squirm and be like, but I was bringing back free speech. Where are you guys going? But they'll always talk about there's no viable alternative. Facebook's still one of a kind in a lot of ways. So there is that. I want to end off with some fun stuff. Actually, real quick, I'm going to share this tab right here. Leading Report had this. Breaking: fact checkers say they were blindsided by Meta's decision and partnerships, leaving them worried about finding new work and potentially facing closure, per Wired. Couldn't have happened to a nicer group of people, man. Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. I never want people's livelihoods to get hurt, but these are people that try to destroy livelihoods consistently with their fact checks and their bullshit, with their lies. They were certified liars. That is all they were there to do, was lie. And they did it for years. They were on the gravy train for years, and it has now come to them. So as much as I don't want people to have their families hurt, because that would suck. I would never want that to happen. You did reap what you sow here. So I hope they can find more work. I hope they can do honest work, because this is not honest work. You're a fucking liar. You were a professional liar. And I hope you can find honest work and go do something honest that can make you proud. But don't do this shit again. Don't fact check anymore. Don't lie. That's lying. It's not fact checking. You're not equal. You're a bunch of liars. So don't do that. All right. On to some fun stuff. Benny Johnson had this right here. Trump is going off about Canada on Truth Social. This happened today. I mean, Trump is back with the trolling about all this with Trudeau gone. fucking put that up there and then put this up there. Like, here's the thing. Do I truly think that Donald Trump is going to actually try to annex Canada? I don't. Let me get real quick to Nietzsche. Old enough to remember when everyone our age was on MySpace. Then made the weird transition to Facebook in like 06, 07. Didn't understand it. I can't put the nastiest of medals on my Facebook page. I agree with that. So here's the thing. Nate said he never made the transition and don't do anything outside of X. So Nate, I'm just going to give a quick little backstory with that. So we were all on MySpace, and MySpace was dope. You used MySpace, you made your page, you had your top friends, you were a fucking computer programmer because you had a dope song, you had a background, maybe it moved if you could find a GIF. But it was there for people to talk shit on the boards, and you just had fun talking shit to your friends. That's all I did on MySpace. I talked shit. That was it. It was fun. Where the transition happened is when Facebook was created, it was exclusive for college kids only. So you needed to have a college email in order to even be on there. So it was the exclusivity of it that I think really made it popular at first. And it was dope. I remember my senior year when I could, fully committed to Marist. And then Marist gave me my college email, and my sister had it. She had Facebook already. She was over in school. And she was like, you can make a Facebook now. Like, it was kind of like a rite of passage at that time. Like, shit, you're a college member. You can now make a Facebook. And then anybody that had a college email, obviously, even when you were out of college, you were able to keep that Facebook because it was basically for college kids. That's all it was for. So that became pretty dope. And obviously, even if you went to community college, you had a college email, you can then join Facebook. But it was meant to be that 17, 18 plus crowd, the adults only. And yeah, that's what it was for. So I think it was the exclusivity at first. And then when they realized that people wanted to be on it, then they opened it the fuck up. They already had the college kids going, and they were like, why should we limit this to college kids? We have a successful model here. People use it a ton. I just remember like you would always like actually comment on people's pages, which was like, people don't fucking do that anymore. You used to have conversations by commenting back and forth. There was no messenger. No one, if you want to talk via messages, you either texted or used AIM. That was the two things. AIM was still a thing. And, BlackBerry Messenger was huge. But it was the exclusivity. And then when they opened it up, it was like kind of like, oh shit. Now the whole entire exclusive club is open to everyone, even the peons, and then, even the people that aren't going to college. And now it became a way of, oh, I have Auntie G who lives over in Tennessee and I'm over here when I was in New Jersey, whatever it was. Now we can connect via Facebook. And it became a way of now keeping in touch with family. And that's kind of, I think, what pulled everyone to move over to it from Facebook. It was kids on MySpace going into college and then getting a Facebook because that was the cool exclusive thing. But then when it opened up, it was family members are now able to continually communicate, and friends that maybe didn't go to school, now you can talk with them if you're gone. And so then it became that, and now it's morphed into what it is. It had its whole different phases, but I think that's the initial why MySpace transition occurred. And then MySpace became a dope space for just friggin' music artists. For the longest time, you could find like rock artists and stuff like that. They would put all their music on there, and now I don't know what it is, but Tom's a fucking millionaire somewhere, so good for Tom. But anyway, let's get back to what Benny said. So Donald Trump over here trolling, which I find fucking hilarious. And then the other day, if this wants to load, this was yesterday, January 6th. This was Trump's response to Trudeau fucking resigning. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the US, there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of Russia and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. And it's just like, this type of shit is hilarious to me. Now, here's the thing. If the Canadian people all of a sudden started to want it, and if Pierre Poilievre becomes a prime minister and he really like starts floating that, and we could see this possibly become real. Now, it's not going to happen because outside of Alberta, Calgary, Quebec, Ontario, They're not fucking going for this. Maybe Saskatchewan would jump in for it, but there's like 16 people in Saskatchewan. But it's like the major cityscapes are not going to go for this. Your super leftist compounds are not going to go for this. If anything, we might like annex Alberta and Saskatchewan. They may come and it might be like poking into there, but your major leftist strongholds will never go for this. So it's either Trump comes in on January 20th and declares war on Canada and fucking invades and just takes them over, or it's just fun talk and it's hilarious. I love the trolling of this. I really believe it's just a fantastic troll, but we'll see. Trump's a fucking madman. Speaking of being a madman, it seems as if Donald Trump has decided that today he should send a convoy over to Greenland to talk to them about fucking making them a country. And it happens to be his son, Charlie Kirk, is with him. And there they are in Greenland. Here they are posing some more. And it's absolutely fucking wild. It is absolutely wild that this is a real thing. This is a real thing. There's another post right here from Donald Trump Jr. about he's with Ukrainians and they're wearing MAGA hats. He writes here, Greenland loves America and Trump, incredible people with an equally awesome reception. They just want to be able to utilize some of the incredible resources that they have and allow themselves, their country, and their kids to flourish. And I'll pick up the picture. These are people from Greenland with the MAGA hats on. This is crazy shit. Again, I just think it's a meme. I don't think that we're going to make that an American territory. But, I mean, Trump's a madman. You never know. You really never know what this guy's going to do. Yeah, he's absolutely fucking crazy. But I think it's hilarious. If we're being quite honest, I think it's funny. I really do. Seeing the way he trolls, he's trolling Panama. He's kind of coming in and just talking his shit. And the thing is, he is setting the stage. I had a story up. I didn't want to go too far because and it was also from a few days ago. I don't know if there's any progress, but apparently the Palestinians are getting ready to release the 34 hostages. They have another 12 days. Trump said, if you don't fucking release them by the time I'm in, there's going to be hell to pay. It looks like they're getting ready for a ceasefire deal and to release the hostages. No one can deny that there's a factor of Trump coming in. And I really feel like all of this talk, everything he's doing is just to set the stage for the type of president he wants to be in his second term. And he's putting the world on notice that, like, hey, I'm coming in with piss and vinegar. Now, didn't help himself with endorsing Mike Johnson. Isn't really in a good spot with John Thune being the leader of the Senate. But we'll see. We'll see. So I wanted to end it off on that happy note. Dad, it's not 2 hours. It's only 1 hour and 47. So it's almost 2 hours. But I made it under 2 hours. Damn it. You should be happy with me. But pumped to be back again, as always. Like I said, it's been a few days. I'm happy to jump back in and talk to you, Nate. Always happy to have you hanging out. And tomorrow, I will be back. We are doing a real interview. So I am excited about that. You know, it's been last time we did it was with Jennifer Say. And Jennifer's amazing. And we have another amazing guest coming on. David should be with me as well. So it's always good to have Dave around. Hope to see everyone that was watching today come back in, regardless of where you're watching. I'm going to try and get this shit fixed up with Rumble. I have no idea what's going on with Rumble, but I'm going to try and get that fixed up because I'd like to be live streaming at Rumble. It'd be pretty cool. You know, all the cool kids are over at Rumble. So that's not working there. So we got to find out. But I mean, thank you. Thank you for watching. Wherever you are, do your due diligence. Give us a good rating. Spread this word of mouth on the podcast. Give us a good review. All that good stuff. We appreciate everyone. Go find us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. You'll see us everywhere there. But outside of that, I had fun as always. And I will see everyone tomorrow night. And then maybe take Thursday off. Possibly take Thursday off. Like I said, my goal is to finish my books. One of my books to this year. Get it published. So that's a goal. And yeah. So I got to take some time. I'm not going to be able to jump on every single day. So with that in mind,